Good morning and thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup with me, Niraj Shah. Now, there is big news, I know, but did you know about this very interesting fact that the world will need to over double its nuclear energy capacity to achieve the net zero carbon emissions by 2050? Now, do you think that this can happen within all the constraints that are laid out? Interesting. But if this is the goal, then you know one more area where the investments are going to happen. But I'll tell you one area which is very certain is easing, and the big news is that the US Fed has lowered the benchmark rate 50 basis points to 4.75 to 5% target range. This is big, and it has happened, and it will have repercussions. Now, you could argue that the US markets didn't quite follow the template and actually were lower in trade. Futures are marginally higher. Maybe some bit of this is priced in. The question only is, will it show off in Asia and India? Well, I think the Asian markets are a tick of green largely. At least the Nikkei does, 2.46% higher. Remember, the BOJ comes out with its decision tomorrow. But largely, we know that the markets will not correct at least. I think the implied open for our markets, I haven't seen it this morning. Well, a flattish start anticipated. The question is all of this priced in or no? So my belief is that the markets are largely pricing in the positives of the Fed cut, but there is still a likelihood of there being some upsides versus there being downsides. So that is one thing to keep an eye on. You know, globally you see slowdown evident, but Indian markets may rise a bit more despite this global slowdown to my mind. The only pocket that you've got to be careful of is metals. Commodities look wobbly, and therefore there is a bit of an issue there. Metals very vulnerable in next quarter due to slowdown as well as spread. So be mindful of very large leveraged long positions in the metal space despite a China pullback or what have you. Now that is a black box, but aside of that, things look okay. What are the stocks to watch, therefore, in such a scenario? You know, we'll make this rapid today because the Fed move is done. We'll get a lot of global opinion on TV, and everybody's opinion will be mixed. But I think stock-specific moves deserve attention this morning. So, big one on my list is the liquor companies. Now, Andhra Pradesh cabinet has cleared the new liquor policy. The details are out there. If you are in Andhra Pradesh, then it's a big move for you from a drinking perspective as well. But effectively, the model seems to be wholesale through the state, retail through private players, and therefore brokerages believe that this will have a big positive impact of nearly 7 to 8% on volume growth for companies like UBL, Radico Khaitan, Allied Blenders, even United Spirits for that matter, but beer principally. So FY26 could see strong uptick in volume growth towards 14 to 15% for beer. For some of the others, like Prestige and above spirits, about 10 to 12% volume growth. And hence, United Breweries, the principal beneficiary, and some of the others about 7-8% as well. In fact, Elara Securities says that it's a mild positive impact of further 3 to 5% could be visible on stocks because some of the stocks have already rallied a bit. So watch out for the liquor companies in the session today. NTPC could be in focus. NTPC Green has filed for a 10,000 crore IPO. A lot of analysis around this. They've also sounded off very positive soundbites in the Jefferies forum about the capacity additions being on track, etc. So watch out for NTPC in the session today, could be active. Garden Reach could be active as well, has one additional $54 million contract from Germany's Karsten Raeder. So well, as long as the news flow around order flows continues, it could be construed positive for some of these companies. So mindful of Garden Reach today, could be active. GTND, the stock has had a fabulous run, but today the news is out that the promoters will sell about 15.6% stake via an offer for sale at about 1,400 rupees per share. Excuse me. Current price is 1691, so that's about a 21% downtick, likely. As in past the OFS price. I'm not saying the stock will correct that much, but definitely you will see a bit of a downtick in this stock in the session today. So watch out for GTND. Aditya Birla Capital could be interesting, has received the RBI approval for amalgamation with Aditya Birla Finance, effectively clearing a large NBFC. Let's see if there is a bit of an uptick today. Everything NBFC seems to be gaining traction. So watch out for this one. Nazara Tech, the news is out again. Has raised up to 900 crores via the preferential issue of shares. Issue price set at 954, not too far off from the current price, if you will. Will acquire about 19.35% stake in subsidiary Absolute Sports, which is Sports Kida, for about 145 crores. The set of investors which have come in are very noted names. So could be a mild positive, if at all, for Nazara. By the way, even for SpiceJet, very marquee names have come into the QIP. Let's see if there's a bit of a bounce in SpiceJet after the bit of a slam dunk, not a slam dunk, but a corrective move that it showed yesterday. Power Grid could be interesting. Declared successful bidder for Rajasthan Madhya Pradesh transmission project. Let's see if there's a bit of an uptick here. IREDA will raise about 4,500 crores via QIP, government stake to see about a 7% dilution. Maybe, just maybe, this one could have a bit of an overhang, because anything which is coming to the QIP, pricing being lower, there is a bit of a gap here, unless the set of investors which come in is very constructive. So watch out for IREDA in the session today. And oil prices continue to fluctuate, but I think this is the second downgrade on ONGC that I've seen in about 6 or 7 days. So HSBC is downgraded ONGC to a reduce. The target price is 230 versus the earlier price of 175, but the current price is 290. Effectively, they are saying the same thing, that the falling oil prices expose ONGC's earnings and future project viability. And they find it, declining product rates, reduced guidance for KG fields are key concerns. They find it difficult to be constructive oil, and they have raised the target, which credits the green energy transition as well. So their assumption is that because of green energy, their target has gone up from 175 to 230 or thereabouts, whatever the target is, but it bakes in all the positives, and therefore ONGC is a reduce versus a buy. Now, let's see what happens in the session today, but be that as it may, that upstream, the market veering towards upstream oil companies because of crude price uptakes and because of increased usage is now finding a question mark. Be very careful with upstream oil in particular. This could be a problematic area. Net, the Fed move has happened. Some of it is digested. I think today the markets may be quiet on the back of global markets move, but it's a big one, and therefore a lot of discussion around that, and whether equities or bonds or both become a part of the portfolio now comes a center stage question. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup today.